The Gartner Digital Automaker Index. This is an index which looks at every factor when it comes to automakers that are digital. As in, basically, it analyzes your car company and it says if you're Toyota, then digital for you is not something you've worked out. In fact, you suck major salty gonads if you're Toyota. And seriously, you could see Toyota's rankings here, Jaguar Land Rover's rankings, they're shocking. What's really interesting though, Lucid CEO says that Lucid is 5 years to 10 years ahead of Tesla. However, these analysts, these expert analysts who've evaluated 22 different automakers and looked at 14,000 different data points. I mean, every angle you can look at, they're saying Lucid's actually wrong. They're saying Tesla is in fact a fair way ahead of Lucid. Hello my friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. Now, first of all, let's just have a look at the top 5 automakers when it comes to digital automakers. What does this all mean? Well, Tesla, Rivian, and Chinese electric vehicle manufacturers have continued their big lead over legacy auto, such as Jaguar Land Rover and Toyota, in the race to transform into a technology company. So this is about ranking which companies are, well, which car brands are technology companies. Now, we all know if your car brand is not a technology company, it won't exist in 10 years. I mean, that's what the car is becoming. The global car market pie is shrinking. Sales are shrinking. There's no question about that. When we have robotaxis, we have more transportation now. You can buy electric transportation for $500 on eBay. Many millions of people are doing that. And therefore, the global car market is going to shrink. There's no doubt. You've got to adapt to this. The way to do that is what? Technology, software, electrification, manufacturing EVs that are affordable, that can drive themselves, all these different issues, right? Anyhow, I'm really not doing this any justice because 13,919, basically 14,000 different data points were analyzed to compare these car manufacturers. Here's what they said. Software should be the highest priority for an automaker today, said Gartner analyst Pedro Pacheco, who's one of the creators of the index. There is no room for complacency in this very fast-moving, aggressive area. All automakers, every single one of them, has agreed they need to find a way to generate interest and income from their software. And the index shows that the traditional brands are really struggling compared with Tesla, Rivian, NIO, etc. Now, who are the top on the list? Well, first of all, Tesla is number one. Here's what they said. Why? Tesla is starting to show some shortcomings in the connectivity category because they still don't have 5G. They still haven't moved into satellite connectivity, and the user score for their app is deteriorating. It's interesting. Tesla lost points because of the frequent reshuffling of its leadership team. Last month, the vice president of Tesla's finance and business operations resigned. He was the 4th executive to depart in 5 months. Now, to be fair, executives have departed. Many automakers that are not Tesla. It's not just Tesla who has executives depart. That's what the media would like you to believe. But apparently this was considered in the rankings. And in spite of that, Tesla still won pretty easily. It is not 100% clear, the analyst said, how things are working at the top. Tesla still has a good number of people with expertise in terms of leadership, but there have been many changes recently, and it's too early to tell if this will actually hurt Tesla. But on a positive note, Tesla first of all is number one, and they were praised in the report for already being able to generate revenue from their over-the-air software updates. So, looking at this list, NIO was in second, 71.2% versus Tesla's first place, 76.9%. It's a pretty wide gap, to be fair, but Tesla did fall by 0.4%. NIO went up by plus 2%. Now, obviously, NIO's rankings are great. Well done to NIO. My main concern if you're NIO is, even if NIO was number one, let's say NIO got a score of 99%, they're number one. The problem is NIO still doesn't sell very many cars, and they're still making massive losses on every single car they sell. So that's what NIO needs to focus on. NIO is a car company that focuses on perfectionism, but sometimes perfectionism is the enemy of good, of results, of actually getting things done. And that's my methodology with YouTube, with the channel. I can't make perfect videos because otherwise I could only do one a week. Anyhow, third place, interesting here, Xpeng. And in fact, Xpeng jumped the most of any car company other than Hyundai Kia. But Hyundai Kia are coming from a very, 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 very low base. I mean, astronomically low base. So yeah, that increase from Hyundai Kia is great, but yeah, it's coming from a very low position. They were one of the worst in the world the last time this was done. So interestingly, Xpeng, third place, 66.8%. And well, Xpeng are similar to Tesla. They make very, very affordable cars. And I personally have ordered one. So if you're in Australia and you want to place an order, why not? You can get it's a refundable, fully refundable deposit. Anyhow, fourth place is Rivian, 55%. Now guys, actually before I go on, I should mention, I actually did have to pay a $400 order fee when I cancelled my Tesla Model 3 order. So I paid that $400 fee. So you can see here that I do think the G6, the Xpeng G6 is a better buy than a Tesla Model 3. Anyhow, fourth, Rivian, 55%. They have grown 13%. So kudos to Rivian. Fifth, Lucid, 51.3%. They have grown by 9%, which is good. Good to see Lucid doing this well. Now, keep in mind, a lot of Lucid has had some software challenges. I do know that quite a number of their media screens have been faulty in various ways, including just completely going black. I believe Lucid have had to replace quite a lot of their media screens. Of course, Lucid is a smaller car company. If this was Tesla, you would all know about it. I'm sure of it. Next was Geely, 47.2% plus 10%. Geely is the fastest growing company in the world when it comes to car sales and electric car sales, growing much, much faster than any of their rivals, including BYD. Interesting to see that. BYD, speaking of them, they're next with 42.2% plus 18%. BYD over-the-air software updates, dramatic improvement from BYD when it comes to their software. It's a fantastic result for them. They, by the way, I believe have 90,000 people working in R&D for more than any other company in the world, period. Any business of any kind, BYD have the highest number. So you can expect their software to improve. Plus, BYD have invested in other companies, I believe, to help them, Huawei, to help them with their software. So you should see a big jump from BYD probably in the next rankings as well. Ford next, 40%. I'm surprised to see that, but minus 4%. General Motors, minus 13% at 39.9%. BMW, 39.5%, plus 4%. Mercedes, plus 1%, 36.8%. Looking down the list though, guys, very interesting to see, very, very low. Jaguar Land Rover, 24.8%, 0% change. Still bad, always bad. Mazda next, 26.5%, plus 6% improvement, but they're still second last. Toyota, minus 7%. Toyota software apparently, or not just software, but their digital abilities are getting worse in comparison to their rivals. They have fallen by 7%. This is when you have to look at this chart here. Have a look at Toyota's electric car sales. Have a look at this. This is not just ranking them on EVs. This is ranking them on, are they a company that's evolving with the times? And they're not. This really does confirm what I've been saying. Nissan next. They have no change, but they are fourth. And you can see here a very, very interesting pattern. The three worst automakers, aside from JLR, which no one even talks about, the three worst are Japanese car companies. Now next, SAIC Motors, plus 4% with 29.7%. MG is owned by SAIC Motors, MG EVs. And yeah, interesting to see their position there. Stellantis was next with 32.2%, then Honda. So there are no Japanese automakers that have done well in these rankings. Now, apparently one of the reasons why Toyota has fallen by 7% from 2023 is that one of the reasons is that the automaker's head of vehicle software no longer reports to the CEO. This sends the wrong message, they said, about Toyota's commitment to software. They're saying that Toyota is actually not as committed to software as what they should be. So can these automakers turn it around fast? Can they become digital businesses fast? Change what they do from being old school to new and emerging rather than being disrupted? Well, the answer is no, according to the study. Pacheco says it takes a long time for any traditional automaker to transform into a technology company, and may never happen. He said the key weaknesses most legacy brands have are that their leadership culture, and talent are clearly not software-centric enough compared with their rivals. Pretty strong evidence that that's true based on the experience of the Volkswagen Group, the experience where we're now seeing a lot of these legacy automakers turn to China for help with their software or to use their platforms, their digital platforms, their entire skateboard platforms. They're all doing it. So it kind of proves the point here. Several CEOs of the newer brands started in the tech world. Therefore, when there is a major software-related problem, they tackle it immediately. Pacheco said CEOs who have only worked in the automotive sector place lower priority on technical issues. Moreover, software at many legacy brands is often led by someone who is not even part of the executive board or doesn't report to the CEO, leading to a different approach towards software. To reverse this trend, the leaders at legacy automakers need to think software first, they said. That means leaders must prioritize the technology, create a culture that emphasizes software, and ensure that the company attracts and retains top technology talent. Many legacy automakers don't pay their top software engineers salaries that match or exceed what they can get from a tech company. Therefore, they just go and leave. Culture change is needed. Changing the culture of a company remains immensely hard, said the study's analysts, and the new incumbents were born thinking more like a software company while legacy automakers just aren't. So there needs to be a major transformation in the culture of the organization. This needs to start at the top. But here's the thing, right? Instigating change at the board level is extremely difficult as many executives come from the traditional automotive world. The board also wants to please shareholders who value short-term profits. Yep, that's exactly what the Volkswagen Group are doing right now. Stellantis, Ford, pausing their EV deliveries, valuing short-term profits over long-term profitability and growth. And this puts the CEO in a very difficult position when it comes to instigating major changes in the organization with regard to software. So how a country is evolving? Well, as you can see here, the US and China are doing the best. And I think that's probably reasonable when you actually have a look at the brands. I mean, the US has companies like Google and Apple and many other brands, Nvidia. China has obviously technology powerhouse now as well. And then Europe, the old world, kind of falling behind. South Korea appears to be a bit behind as well. Japan, as you can see, has fallen behind the most. And you all know that's very clearly indicative of their cars as well. Are they electric cars? Are they fully software integrated? Not really. In terms of geography, the index illustrates that US automakers altogether are slightly ahead of Chinese automakers in the race for software supremacy. That could be partly because the study's analysts are not from China. So that may be part of the reason that they have made this kind of observation or these rankings. He said it's good to see where the strength is in terms of car software. That is clearly the US, which is number one, but China is a terrific challenger. Europe is a distant third, South Korea behind. Japan's performance, meanwhile, has deteriorated and is likely to continue to do so.